Hi, all my LGBT friends and others. Okay, so we're going to start with chapter 15 of Leviticus. We had just finished talking about leprosy and how it's to be cleansed and what have you. Chapter 15 is the uncleanliness of men and women by their issues, and their cleaning. Okay, so, all right, to be continued. This is all, before Christ came. So these are the things that the people had to do to be healed and to be cleansed of their disease. And leprosy was horrible, okay? All right. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is his uncleanliness. Every bed whereupon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereupon he sitteth shall be unclean. This is talking about defilement, condemnation, disinfection, okay? And whosoever shall touch his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the eve. And he that sitteth on anything whereupon he sat that had the issue shall wash his clothes, bathe himself in water, be unclean until the eve. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that had the issue shall wash his clothes, bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the eve. And if he that had his issue spit upon him, that is clean. And he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the eve. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that had the issue shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth the thing that was under him shall be unclean until the eve. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the eve. So it's uncleanness, washing, cleansing, contamination, okay, pollution, so forth. And whosoever toucheth the issue that had not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the eve. And the vessel of earth that he toucheth that had the issue shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he that had an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. Isn't that funny that how we, everybody tell you, wash your hands, with soap and hot water, isn't that great? We get this from the Bible to begin with, how to keep ourselves clean. Okay, and on the 8th day he shall take him 2 turtle doves and 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord for his issue. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all of his flesh in water, and be unclean until the eve. Now, I'm thinking that this must be an STD of some sort. Okay, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Okay. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all of his flesh in water, and be unclean until the eve. And every garment and every skin whereupon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water, and be unclean until the eve. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water, and be unclean until the eve. And if the woman have an issue, and her issue is in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until the eve. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. Whosoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes, bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the eve. And whoever touches anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the eve. And if it be on her bed or anything whereupon she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the eve. And if any man lieth with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed whereupon he lieth shall be unclean. And if the woman has an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanliness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. It's like a menopausal thing, a menstruation type of a thing, some sort of menstruation illness of some sort, I'm thinking. Okay. Every bed whereupon she lieth, all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. Whosoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean as uncleanliness of her separation. And whosoever touches those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the eve. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take to her two turtle doves, 2 young pigeons, and bring them to the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanliness. And thus she shall be separated from the children of Israel, from whom their uncleanliness, that they die not in their uncleanliness when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. It is the law of him that hath issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him that is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue, of the man and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean. Chapter 16. This is going into the high priest must enter into the holy place, the sin offering for himself, the sin offering for the people, the scapegoat, and the yearly feast of the expiations. And the Lord spake unto Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron, and they offered before the Lord and died. And the Lord said to Moses, speaketh unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not with at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat which is upon the ark, that he dieth not. I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. That's so cool. Okay, thus shall Aaron come into the holy place with a young bullock for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering. And he shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and shall be girdled with a linen girdle, and the linen mitre shall he be attired. These are holy garments, therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. And I shall take of the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. And Aaron shall offer his bullock for the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast lots upon 2 goats, and 1 lot for the Lord, and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon the Lord's lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. And the goat on which the lot fell to be on the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord, to make an atonement with him, and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock for the sin offering, which is for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burnt coals of fire from off the altar before the Lord, in his hands full of sweet incense, beaten small, and bring it within the veil. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. And he shall take the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his fingers upon the mercy seat eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. And then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring the blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat before the mercy seat. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanliness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions and all of their sin. And so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanliness. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation where he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy place, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Israel. And he shall go out unto the Lord, the altar that is before the Lord, and make an atonement for it, and shall take of blood of the bullock and out of the blood of the goat, and put it upon the horns of the altar round about. And he shall sprinkle of the blood upon it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it in the hollow it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he hath made the end of reconciling the holy place and the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, he shall bring the live goat. And Aaron shall lay upon his hands upon the head of the live goat, confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel, and their transgressions and all their sins, and putting them upon the head of the goat, he shall send him away by the hand of a fit man into the wilderness. And the goat shall bear upon him all the iniquities of the land not inhabited, and he shall let go the goat in the wilderness. And Aaron shall come into the tabernacle. They're just sending their sins away out into, beyond, in the wilderness. Okay. And the goat shall bear upon him all their iniquities into the land not inhabited, and he shall let go of the goat in the wilderness. And Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of the congregation, shall put off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and he shall leave them there. Where am I? Okay. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put on his garments, and come forth and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people. And the fat of the sin offering shall he burn upon the altar. And that let go of the goat for the scapegoat shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water, afterward come into the camp. So you went to the wilderness, let the scapegoat go and come back. He has to wash himself before he enters into the camp. And the bullock for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the holy place, shall one carry forth without the camp, and they shall burn in the fire their skins and their flesh and their dung. And he that burneth them shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. And this shall be the statute forever unto you, that is in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall afflict your souls and do no work at all, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that you sojourned among you. And for on that day shall the priest make atonement for you, cleanse you, that you may be clean from all your sins before the Lord. It shall be a Sabbath of rest unto you. You shall afflict your souls by statute forever. The priest whom shall anoint and who shall consecrate it to minister priest offices in his father's stead shall make the atonement, and shall put on the linen clothes, even the holy garments, and shall make an atonement for the holy sanctuary, and be made an atonement for the tabernacle of the congregation of the altar, and shall make an atonement for the priests and for all the people of the congregation, and shall be everlasting statute unto you to make an atonement for the children